So next up, I'm going to introduce Maddy Dever. They're the president of Autistic Bridge and a disability advocate, and I think it's so important that we hear from people in the disability community. So thank you so much.
Thank you. Here you go. At least it's not a stage without a ramp. All right, my name is Maddy Dever, and I'm a non-binary autistic spinal cord injury wheelchair user living in rural Eastern Ontario, and my pronouns are they, them. Can you live on $11.69 a month? This is the number that single people with disabilities face every month. This is the amount that we have to cover rent, utilities, food, transportation, clothing. Can you even find an apartment for $11.69 a month? The stark reality is this: the Ontario Disability Support Program does not provide anyone enough to live on. This crisis began 27 years ago when the Harris PC government slashed disability rates and created this new, better program. This better, punitive program began with rates slashed 32%. The poverty spiral began then, and over the last 27 years, successive PC and Liberal governments have continued to subject us to severe poverty. 1729. That is how much we would be making right now if all of the governments kept ODSP up with inflation. This wouldn't have kept us out of poverty, but we would have a little bit more to spend on rent, a little bit more to spend on food, a little bit more to get us around. The last 27 years, governments haven't even kept up with inflation. 2214. This is the 2020 low-income measure, the poverty line. Current ODSP rates are nowhere near this. Now, these last 4 years have been hard on all of us, but especially those of us with disabilities. The Ford PC government has continued this trend of underfunding and keeping us in poverty. We've had one increase of 1.5% in October 2018, and nothing since then. Inflation has increased 11% since 2018. ODSP has increased 0. Rent has increased between 20 to 100%, depending where you are. ODSP has increased 0. COVID increased costs for everything, and people with disability got 0. Every month we have less money. We can't buy. We can only buy fewer things. We go into debt. We go homeless, or we die. And every month it gets worse. We need to raise the rates. 5%, 10%, 20%, 50% is not enough. We need a double ODSP now. Supporting people with disability in Ontario should not be considered social assistance. We currently are given so little to eat, house, clothe ourselves, transport ourselves. There are so many gaps and barriers. Poverty and loss of agency is rampant. We need to radically change how ODSP functions. Now let's rewind ourselves to 2020. We don't want to go there, but let's do it for this. There was clear inhumane inequality as the pandemic hit. And the feds put out our first basic income. $2,000 a month was set as what the bare minimum we needed to live. But people with disability, $11.69. And that $2,000 was per person, $11.69. That's a huge difference. 2 people married, $4,000. And my iPad is overheated. Okay, so I'm going to wing it now. So we have, every month that goes by, what we have to live on is less. We have seen ourselves go through so much difficulty, and we need to move past poverty. We need to see our rates double so that we can thrive, so that we can more than just survive. When you increase your income, income is the sort of the domino that other things affect. When you have stable income, you can have stable housing. When you have stable housing, you can have stable food. When you have stable food, you can have stable employment. When you have stable employment, your mental health is increased. Your ability, you suffer fewer medical problems because you have the ability to go out and get the insulin when you need it. You have the ability to get the prescriptions that you can't afford. You have the ability to get Tylenol, which isn't covered by ODSP. So the only way we can move forward is by doubling it to start. We need to start off with getting rid of clawbacks that are, again, they penalize us. We try to move ahead. You have a job, you get 20%, you get, after the first $200, you get 50% taken off. If you happen to get disabled at work and go on WSIB, guess what? The government claws 100% of that off, not 50%. So you're moving ahead and pull right back. So we need to do whatever we can, starting off with doubling ODSP now, and then going for a full basic income. We can't afford, as people with disability, we can't afford another month, another 2 months, another year, another 4 years to get our ODSP doubled. We're not surviving, we're nowhere near thriving, but we can change that. We can change the politicians, we can push them now to change their platform so that we get every party saying we'll double ODSP, and every party saying we're going to move towards basic income, and we can do it now. Thank you.